very good. So welcome to another special episode of the Anime Match Kit Podcast. I'm your humble host, Jack. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host.
Ryu, what's up, man? What's up?
What's up?
Welcome to be back.
Nice to be back. So today we have a very special episode for you guys. We're going to be discussing the new Mario movie, the one that just got released by Illumination Entertainment and
Illumination.
Exactly, the Minions guys, and so we're going to be talking about that new movie coming out. So let's get started. So basically, this new Mario movie, it stars Chris Pratt, Jack Black, and a bunch of other characters portraying the Mario characters from Nintendo. And in this movie, we follow Mario and Luigi. They are brothers, and they're also plumbers living in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was not expecting them to be in Brooklyn, to be honest.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a little bit because I got a lot to say about like how like the story of the movie. So
All
yeah.
right.
So they're two brothers in Brooklyn, and they're plumbers, but they're also down on their luck plumbers. You know, they just started their business, and they don't have a lot of clients, and a lot of people don't believe in them.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for them because they had a lot of potential. They're good. They're good at their job.
Yeah, because we do see that Mario, well, especially Mario, he really knows his stuff.
Yeah, he does.
So after a bad day at work, Mario sees on the television that there is a big sewage problem happening in Brooklyn. So he decides to get him and his brother Luigi to help the city.
Save Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah, save Brooklyn, and also to get some recognition for their talents.
Yeah.
So while they're going to help the city, they accidentally stumble upon a warp pipe. And this warp pipe takes them out of the real world, their real world, and into the world of the Mushroom Kingdom and the other lands that surround it. So unfortunately, Mario and Luigi get separated, and Luigi ends up going to the Badlands, which is the land where Bowser rules. And
World 8 for you gamers, World 8.
Basically, yeah, World 8, World 7, yeah, basically like those worlds. And Mario ends up landing in the Mushroom Kingdom, where he meets characters like Toad, who helps him meet the princess. And Mario joins the princess to help convince Cranky Kong to send his army to help fight Bowser. And that's basically the plot of this movie.
Yeah. It's speaking of I really love this concept of this movie because in the games we never see Princess Peach having guards with weapons or anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just Princess Peach with just Toads maintaining the castle. But in this movie they actually give the concept of Toads becoming guards in here.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's a really new, fresh how they do it. It's like a good, yes, now we know who's protecting these castles.
Exactly. And yeah, so we really get to see so this universe that they create for the movie is very different from, well, not too different from the games, but there's things that make it stand out. Because you mentioned that the Toads, that they have Toad guards at the castle. Also Bowser's minions, like the Koopa Troopas, you know, they have helmets, they have spears and other types of equipment that we don't usually see them. And I like those little touches because it kind of makes the world make a little bit more sense, because, you know, because imagine, like, you know, they're trying to fight this war without weapons.
Yeah,
I like those little touches. And so let's just sort of talk about like what we felt about the movie. How did you like the movie overall?
I loved it because there were so many references from the games of the past.
Yeah.
And games from today, especially the one when we go to the castle to see Princess Peach and Toad is there saying, "Oh, sorry, the princess is not here. She's at another castle."
Oh yeah, a lot of little in jokes and a lot of little references to not only just Mario, but like a lot of Nintendo properties. Did you like the movie overall? Like, if you were to like give it like a rating, what would you like rate it like out of 10?
9 out of 10. I really loved it. The reason it's not 10 out of 10 because they added some songs that I didn't feel like that it really fit.
Yeah. So what he's mentioning, what my co-host is mentioning is, so they do this like cliche Hollywood thing where like they put in like popular like rock songs and pop songs in the soundtrack, and then certain scenes they put in like, you know, classic songs that really don't fit in the movie, and that was something that kind of irked me too. But let me just talk about like how I felt about the movie. I had a lot of fun with the movie. I thought the movie was very well designed. There was a lot of eye candy. I did feel that the movie, in terms of pacing, it moved a little bit too fast for my liking, and I did feel that sometimes the plot was a little bit too thin in certain areas. But I think in terms of like, say, characters and like character design, and even some of the acting, I actually really enjoyed. If I were to rate it, my rating would be a little bit more closer to 7 out of 10, because there were some things that I did not that just did not click with me, but I still overall enjoyed this movie.
Would you like to talk about what didn't click with you?
What didn't click for me is like sometimes I felt like the movie, like I said, the movie moved a little bit too fast, in terms of like, for example, for example, Donkey Kong and his dad. So like their main conflict is that Cranky Kong doesn't really respect Donkey Kong, or he thinks that Donkey Kong is too immature or stuff like that. And then, you know,
okay.
And then, you know, like that problem, that conflict gets resolved a little bit too quickly for my liking, because, you know, Donkey Kong just basically saves Cranky Kong, and then he's like, okay, son, go out there and flex your pecs.
Yeah, there was one character that we get introduced after the Mario brothers get introduced. There was one scene where this guy was like basically bullying them.
Yeah, and he was like their former boss.
Yeah, their former boss, and in the end, he just like, celebrating their victory and everything, like what they did for saving Brooklyn. I'm just saying that so I don't ruin certain things. And it's like, that's a little bit too quick.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what I kind of felt, that the movie should have like maybe not added so many plot details or added too much story, because when certain conflicts get resolved, it doesn't feel like as satisfying or as cathartic as maybe it should have been.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if they might have done like another pass on the script and maybe got rid of maybe one or two plot points, it would have made the plot points that they did have a little bit more satisfying.
Yeah, or they couldn't just have him wait until the sequel to...
Or that too.
It's like, I have a feeling that he did it way too fast with this guy. Because in the beginning, he bullies the hell out of the brothers.
Yeah.
And then in the end, the movie's like, yeah, let's go. He saved it. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
That's a little bit too quick. If he would have done it like in the end of the second sequel, if they're going to make, it's like, he goes like, fine. Like, have a little like he doesn't want to say it, but he has to admit it when he's wrong, kind of thing. Like, it would be better if he's just like in the corner instead for like celebrating. He would be in the corner like angry that they succeeded, because the brothers literally told this guy, say, watch, we're gonna succeed and you're gonna appreciate, respect us more, and he walks away like, yeah. Whatever. Yeah. And then in the end, he sees him actually do the thing, succeeding, and him in the corner going, And then in the sequel, he finally goes like, all right, you were right. And then say like, yeah, get it up to the Mario brothers.
Yeah.
But it was way too quick for him to like.
Yeah, because it felt way too quick, and oh man, I was gonna say something about that. Yeah, it definitely felt too quick, and but I do get why they have that character in the movie, because that character does serve a purpose, because he basically sets up the conflict for the Mario brothers, like the goals that they're trying to achieve, because because in the beginning, Mario, when he has that confrontation with that bully character, it basically shows us that Mario's just trying to prove himself. He's trying to make everybody see how talented and how successful he could be, but people still they don't see, they see him as just, he's just like this tiny guy, he's just a dreamer, and people don't really believe in him, and so that sets up the conflict in Mario. And then also we also learn that it's not that we learn, but we also get that in this universe, Luigi is like a huge coward. But also
in the games, he's also a coward in the games as well, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but also I like the little thing that they do in that scene where Mario, when the bully character insults Luigi because he calls Luigi like an idiot or something, and then and then Mario's like, "Don't you insult my brother." And so, that kind of just tells us a lot about Mario's character, is that, he really loves and is protective of his brother. And that also just like basically like, that's basically like the whole like emotional heart of the movie, because like in the movie, Mario is not trying to save Princess Peach. He's trying to save his brother. Which is an interesting, it's an interesting twist on the Mario formula, because in this movie, Princess Peach is not a damsel in distress.
She's the badass in this story.
Which I like.
Damn, like some of the scenes are kind of spicy. I'm not gonna say it, brother.
Oh my God.
They were kind of, after we finished watching this movie, you know what I instantly did?
What?
I went to Reddit.
Oh, what were they saying?
There was a scene where Princess Peach saves Toad, because there's a Toad that follows with Mario and Princess Peach, and this Toad, when Princess Peach, remember the scene? I don't want to ruin it. Like when the scene when they're riding the vehicles.
Yeah.
There was a scene when Princess Peach saves him, and a scene where Toad's face is up her ass.
Oh my God.
And I didn't even notice it in the movie. But these guys like, hey guys, do you like that scene when Toad just ate her ass?
Oh.
And then I was like, ate her ass, and it was not safe for work, so I was expecting like a picture of like drawing of it. But it was actually from the movie.
Oh.
Toad's face is in her ass.
Oh my God.
And then there was like multiple images, and I swiped it to the side, and now I had pictures of Toad eating her ass while she's riding the bike, like
Oh my God.
People are horny.
Well, you know what they say about animators? Animators are some horny motherfuckers.
Especially ones in Reddit.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you remember watching like just old animated movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or The Road to El Dorado, because you look
The Road to El Dorado,
because you look at characters like Jessica Rabbit or Chell from El Dorado, or just look at any of the movies where there's a Disney princess, and you can sometimes tell that the animators have way too much fun animating the animated women.
Dude, that ass and thighs, brother. I think that's why I'm a thigh and ass guy.
Oh my God.
The animators has fucked up my childhood.
Well, I mean, yeah. But going past that, I really enjoyed how they portrayed Princess Peach in this movie. Like you mentioned, she is a badass, and she's a confident leader, and she's intelligent, and she actually has really good chemistry with Mario.
I really very good chemistry.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the scenes of just them talking and stuff. So it really felt cohesive. That relationship felt very natural. And I also like the fact that Mario is not trying to win her love. Mario is just trying to save his brother. That's really his goal throughout the movie. And
respect.
Yeah, and but I also really like the actress who played Princess Peach, who did her voice. Princess Peach is played by this actress named Anya Taylor-Joy. She's pretty new to Hollywood, but in the movies,
I did not know that.
Yeah, but in the movies that I've seen her in, like The Witch and such, I really enjoyed her performance, and she does a really good job. I think Princess Peach might be my favorite voice performance in the whole movie, because I just really liked how her voice just matched the character and just gave the character a little bit more life than what was on screen. I really enjoyed that performance. And another performance that I really enjoyed is I enjoyed Toad. I really liked how they wrote the character of Toad, because here's one thing. My worry with this movie is because it was being made by Illumination Entertainment. Yeah. And Illumination is most famous for doing the Minions movies. Yeah. And so I
know there's not just the Minions.
But here's my point with that. Yeah. Because they did the Minions, I was afraid that they were going to make the Toads like the Minions, that they were gonna write them like the Minions, that they were just gonna that they weren't gonna speak English, and they were just gonna do Yeah, and then they were just gonna do like a bunch of random shit just to try to be funny. But with the Toads, they actually, made them, they spoke English. They were able to communicate with Mario, and then but the Toad specifically, who's in the movie throughout the movie, he's very funny because you can tell that this Toad is different from the other Toads because he's a bit more braver. He's more cunning, more intelligent, and there's a really funny joke that they do like in the castle where like he pulls out his frying pan and you think he's gonna like fight the guards, but no, really he just sets up like a little campfire and starts cooking food for him for them, and that was actually a pretty funny joke that I enjoyed.
Actually, the voice actor of that specific Toad is a comedian. I forgot his name.
His name is Keegan Michael Key.
There you go, Keithan.
Yeah, Keegan Michael Key, who some of you might remember from Mad TV or the show Key and Peele on Comedy Central. And so he's very funny. I actually like him quite a bit because he's a very good comedian.
And also when he said he sat in an interview and told him when he made the voice of Toad, he told him to make it very high pitch. So it was very interesting that he had to give a very high-pitched Toad voice when he was talking the entire time. He said that he had to take multiple breaks just to rest his voice from it.
Yeah, because you can tell because he really disguises his voice. He's one of the few celebrity performers in this movie that actually puts in an effort to disguise their voice from their regular speaking voice. Because if you were to just play a clip to somebody, like to someone random on the street, most of them probably wouldn't tell that it's the guy from Mad TV. But another performance that I actually liked quite a bit is I actually liked Cranky Kong.
Cranky Kong.
You know why?
Why?
Because Cranky Kong is played by another comedian. His name is Fred Armisen. He was on Saturday Night Live. And so for his voice as Cranky Kong, that's not really his normal speaking voice.
Really?
His voice, he's kind of doing an imitation of another comedian named Larry David. And Larry David, if you guys know like Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm, his character is basically like a cranky old Jewish man. And if you watch the Mario movie and you listen to Cranky Kong, the way that he talks, he's like, yeah, you'll have my army. Yeah, let's go get some bagels and some pizza at the pizzeria. He doesn't say that, but he kind of talks like an old Jewish guy from like New York. And so I felt that Fred Armisen was doing like an impression of Larry David, this actor who's on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And so, but if you know who Fred Armisen is, you'll know that's not his voice. Fred Armisen kind of speaks in a high-pitched voice. He's like, yeah, I like to play the drums. It's like that's more his voice.
I did not know that. Okay, cool.
No, well, I don't know because I don't know if that's what the directors told him to do or if that's just something he came up with by himself. I was actually very surprised that Cranky Kong sounded a lot like Larry David. It almost seems like the directors probably wanted Larry David as Cranky Kong, but Larry David was probably like, huh? What is this? Mario Brothers? I don't know what the fuck is Mario Brothers. And then they just got, let's just get the guy from Saturday Night Live.
All right.
But yeah, I really liked his performance. So let's talk about the two elephants in the room.
All right. What's the elephant?
Jack Black and Chris Pratt. Let's start off with Jack Black.
Okay.
What did you think of Jack Black as Bowser?
It was interesting. It was really interesting. I loved him playing as Bowser very much because he voices Poe, and I really love Poe from when he did that. But Jack Black as Bowser, it kind of didn't fit, and it kind of did fit.
I agree with you, but elaborate a little bit more.
So it fit with the personality of how he does it because Bowser is this maniacally evil guy, and I think he gave the character some justice on that part. Yeah. But it kind of felt weird at some parts, like when he talks normally, not being like Bowser. Yeah. It just felt weird, him just talk about other things. Yeah. Like it just gave me a weird feeling like...
Yeah, there's a disconnect.
Yeah, a disconnect from it.
Yeah, because that's definitely one thing that I would mention about Bowser as a character in this movie is I like Jack Black, and I like what he did in some scenes because Jack Black knows how to play up the comedy. And I was actually not too disappointed that they tried to make Bowser a funny villain because like the Mario universe is already so cartoony, so trying to make it too serious is not like the best option to go with. So making Bowser a funny villain is good. But I felt that the performance and the writing did not balance out like the evil and the funny too much. There are some scenes.
I think that's why it felt weird.
There is one scene I know because basically Bowser, his sidekick in the movie is Kamek, so he gets a lot of scenes with Kamek. And so there's this one scene where they're playing the piano together, which I really enjoyed.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, they play the underground theme. And they're playing it on the piano. And at the end of the scene, he smashes Kamek's fingers on the piano. And it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because like that's the kind of humor I wanted out of Bowser, like where he's just like a bastard.
Yeah.
Did you watch the last Puss in Boots movie, the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it. If you ever get a chance, you should watch it. You will not be disappointed. But in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they have several villains in the movie, and one of the villains is this character called Jack Horner. So he's like this big, fat, like greedy villain, and he gets a lot of funny lines. And the reason why his lines are so funny is because he is such an unlikable evil bastard. And I think that was probably like the best way to portray Bowser in this movie is make him much more of an evil, unlikable tyrant instead of just making him like, and I'm gonna say it, a simp. They made him kind of a simp in this movie.
Yeah, they kind of made him a simp because peaches.
But you know what? I actually don't dislike the Peaches song because I remember when we went to see it, you were cringing in your seat, and then there was like a light bulb went out of my head, and I was like, yes, that is the exact reaction you're supposed to have to that scene. You're not supposed to like enjoy the song. You're actually supposed to cringe of how much of a simp Bowser is being in this one scene. But
honestly, when I cringe, I think I cringe out of disrespect of him because I'm a gamer and a weeb. So seeing Bowser not being Bowser, just being a simp, just killed something inside of me.
Because surprisingly, Bowser is not in too many scenes in the movie.
He is not. He's actually not. Only here and there.
Yeah.
The only time he's actually in the scene was in the beginning when he was in the piano room talking to his troops, and at the end of the movie.
Yeah, so he's gone for actually a good majority of the movie, and yeah, so we don't get a lot of Bowser too much, which also disappointed me. Another thing that did kind of disappoint me.
What is it?
Is that we didn't get too much of Luigi in the movie too, because Luigi, he gets captured
and then he gets forgotten. Yeah, he just gets forgotten halfway.
Yeah, so Luigi, I feel like Luigi was probably like maybe like 6 or 7 minutes of the actual movie.
Yeah, the only time we saw Luigi was from the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and then all the way to the end of the movie.
Yeah, where he helps Mario save the day. So that did kind of disappoint me, but I kind of get it why they didn't use Luigi too much, because they sort of wrote themselves into a corner, because Luigi gets captured, and after he gets captured, there's really not a lot that you can do with his character because he's captured.
Well, they could have just got him to like try to escape.
True, but the way that they set up the rules of this universe and the way that he's captured is also it also kind of makes it hard for him, because if they were gonna do like a little subplot where he escapes the prison, they had to like write his character a little bit differently, and they would have to set up a couple of other things differently, which might have taken away from the A story. And so they probably didn't want to write. They didn't want like a B story overtaking the A story, which was probably like the problem. Because also didn't you feel like the scenes that Mario has with like Donkey Kong? Don't you think those scenes would have been like also better if like Luigi was there?
Yes, Honestly, because if Luigi was really there, he
Mm-hmm.
would have been scared of Donkey Kong every
Mm-hmm.
so often, and Mario would have been just right in front saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Don't worry, I got this," or
Yeah.
like, "Stay away from my brother," or something like that.
Yeah. But honestly, I am kind of disappointed, but I can't be like too angry with it because because I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. Like after I left the screening, I did enjoy the movie. I just but I understood why they couldn't do certain things because first of all, this is Mario's story. So
Mm-hmm.
it's Mario who does like the growing and the character development, and Luigi is pretty much like a side character in the movie. And like you said, maybe later in a sequel they'll explore it. Maybe in Mario Brothers 2, they'll give Luigi more to do and it'll probably be more Luigi's story.
Yeah, because it would be great if they implicated Luigi's game,
Mm-hmm. Luigi's
Luigi's
Mansion.
Mansion. Yeah, it would be great if Mario does like in the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they give Mario things to do on his side, and then you let Luigi go have a little vacation. Like
Mm-hmm.
they show like in the beginning of the movie, they show them doing a whole lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and Luigi getting stressed out or gained so much to do that couldn't keep up, and
Mm-hmm.
Mario just gives him a ticket saying, "Here, I won this. You can go and relax
Mm-hmm.
while I take care of the rest." And Luigi goes like, "Okay, thank you," and then goes and then
Mm-hmm.
does his own little thing. Well, we
Yeah.
go back to Mario and him solving a situation because if you didn't see the end credits, I'm not gonna spoil it. Mario go take care of that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he just goes back and forth. Luigi taking care of his shit of the whole thing, and we get a little
Mm-hmm.
secret of the Luigi games, and then Mario does his own stuff, and then in
Mm-hmm.
the end they mix together, saying Luigi saying, "Oh, I came here to fix." Do this, holding the gear he's known for in
Mm-hmm.
those games, and Mario's like, "Well, I'm trying to grab that,"
Mm-hmm.
going chasing that thing he's been doing,
Yeah.
and then they work together using the equipment together to solve both their problems at the same time.
Yeah, and yeah, so again, I am kind of disappointed that Luigi wasn't in the movie all that much because I
Yeah,
do like Luigi as a character, and I actually did like the way that his actor performed him. The actor who does his voice is Charlie Day. Charlie Day, for those of you who don't know, he's the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's the guy. He's the guy who always hangs around Danny DeVito on that show. And Charlie Day is known for having this high pitched voice. So casting him as Luigi was actually a pretty good choice in casting if they were going to go for like a famous Hollywood actor. And so his voice really fit well in that role. So let's talk about Chris Pratt.
yes, yes.
So Chris Pratt, he got a lot of backlash when he was announced as Mario. And also he didn't get a lot of love when the first trailer came out. But I think so far, because the movie has been out for a couple of weeks, people haven't been too harsh on him now that they've seen the movie. In all honesty, I did quite enjoy his performance because Chris Pratt was trying to do a different type of voice than he normally does. Because normally, if you think about Chris Pratt, he's always like the goofy guy.
Yeah.
He's like the guy who's trying to get all the jokes. But in this one, he plays more of an everyman type character. He plays just like a regular guy. So his performance is a little bit more toned down than what he normally does. And he's also kind of sort of doing a New York accent. You can kind of hear it in some of his lines, but the movie also actually makes a comment early on at the beginning where like they do like the fake Mario Brothers commercial, and Chris Pratt is doing the traditional Mario voice where he's doing like, "It's me, call us to do your plumbing work," or something. I don't know. I forget what they say, but they also comment on the movie saying like, that voice is kind of annoying. Let's not do that. So what did you think about Chris Pratt in his role as Mario?
So, like you said, from the trailers, I didn't really like how his voice was acting upon Mario, but we did talk about it in a past podcast, saying that it's probably just a rough cut of him speaking in the Mario voice.
Yeah.
So I really explains that it may just be the rough cut. It's just them setting up the trailer, and that's it. And they will fix it
Mm-hmm.
in editing, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound like how the trailer was when that scene came in. So it was way better. I was happy. Like, okay, it still sounds like Chris Pratt, but it's more like Mario. So they really fixed his audio and they changed the action he was doing.
What I think they did is that they probably pitched his voice a little bit higher, because normally Chris Pratt doesn't have that. His pitch isn't that high normally. Yeah. And then also maybe like the audio that they were using in that original trailer, that might have been like just like temporary audio, or just like not like an outtake, but maybe just like maybe something like an audition for the voice that he was going to do for Mario. And then maybe the directors told him, hey, you gotta maybe like tone down your performance a little bit more, and then maybe try to do a little bit of like a Brooklyn, New York type accent. And which he did, because again, Chris Pratt doesn't technically sound the same way that he sounds in all of his other movies. And so I did enjoy that Chris Pratt actually did decide to like tone down his performance for this one. But yeah, overall, I liked him as Mario. I liked the way that Mario was written for this movie. I liked how they kept him as like an everyman. He's not like a super like a super confident like master of the universe. He's still he's still learning. He's still learning. He has a good heart. He wants to save his brother. And I also like the fact that, again, they didn't make Princess Peach in a damsel in distress.
Yeah,
and
it was a good change.
And I like how the characters play off one another. But also, I will have to say this. There was a performance that I completely did not like.
And which one is that?
Donkey Kong.
Yep, I knew you did. I knew you were going to mention it. He complained so much about Donkey Kong's voice. He hated it when he laughed. Because when he first heard the laugh, it just sounds like Steve Rogen. And he's just like, oh, I fucking got Steve Rogen. And
Seth Rogen, yeah. So Donkey Kong is played by Seth Rogen, and I don't think I really need to explain who he is.
Yeah, so everyone knows who he is. He was in Grown Ups.
Yeah, and no, you're thinking of the other guy. Seth Rogen was in like The 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was in like Knocked Up. You're thinking of
wrong one, yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of John C. Reilly, but oh my God, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Oh my God, Seth Rogen did not give a fuck. He did not try at all, because literally Seth Rogen was just doing his Seth Rogen voice, and then oh my God, and every time Seth Rogen laughed, because he has that annoying fucking laugh, he's always like. And it's like, oh my God, please stop. And I really did not like him as Donkey Kong. And it's like, oh my God, please just stop. I really did not enjoy his performance. But I enjoyed other performances. I liked Princess Peach. I liked Cranky Kong.
Princess Peach was the best one. She was a badass. I love every time she was doing some acrobatic shit and something. I was like, damn, this woman knows how to do it.
But but I get why they casted Seth Rogen, because Seth Rogen, he's a famous actor, and he's gonna get like people to come into the theater because if people see that, oh, Seth Rogen's playing Donkey Kong, I love Seth Rogen, so I'm gonna go see it. And I get why they casted these people, but it's like, come on, guys, couldn't you get him to do like something a little bit different? Because it just felt that Seth Rogen, he went into the booth, did his lines, and then he was like, all right, time to get high. And yeah, so I really didn't like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. And but yeah, so oh man, there was something else I wanted to talk about.
The references.
Yeah,
because they gave up a lot of references the first 10.
Even from like the first like 5 minutes or so, there is like so many references. Like especially like in Brooklyn, because Mario and Luigi, they start off in Brooklyn. Like they're in a pizzeria, and the pizzeria is called Punch-Out Pizzeria. And Punch-Out was one of those early Nintendo games from the NES era. And also on the walls, they have pictures of some of the Punch-Out boxers. And Luigi's ringtone. Do you know what Luigi's ringtone was? Yes.
Oh my God! The second I heard it, I was like, I'm back to my childhood.
Yeah, and then did you also notice like on Luigi's phone, like the picture that's on it? It was like the picture of like a Mii from like the Wii.
That.
Yeah, so it's like a picture of a Mii. the bully character in Brooklyn, his shirt, it has the logo of Wrecking Crew, which is another early Nintendo game from the NES. And also, speaking of NES, Mario in his room plays Kid Icarus, where the character Pit comes from, and he's also playing a classic NES on his TV. And also, like, throughout the movie, there's the music is like they have like music from all types of Mario games, and even like when Mario fights Donkey Kong, they play like the original Donkey Kong theme in that scene. I don't know if you know. Yeah, Donkey Kong. DK. Donkey Kong is here. Yeah,
and then they gave Diddy Kong too, the small little character in Donkey Kong's games. They show him up as well.
They also showed Dixie Kong, who's also like his pal.
Yeah, and I love the Donkey Kong references, especially Diddy Kong. I love Diddy Kong. I like playing Diddy Kong when I'm playing Super Smash.
And also like when Mario defeats Donkey Kong at the very end of that scene, we hear like the little theme from the original Donkey Kong from like 1981.
Oh, the one with the barrels?
Exactly, that one.
I didn't hear it. You heard it?
Yeah, but they only play it for like a couple of seconds. So if you really pay attention to the end of that scene, and you know what Donkey Kong is, the original one, you can catch that one.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all. I feel bad not catching it now.
There is like so many fucking references in this movie that when I looked up the IMDb trivia, I saw that people listed references that I didn't even notice.
Really?
Yeah, because like in the Mushroom Kingdom, they have like shops in the Mushroom Kingdom, and if you look closely in the background, you see that some of these shops are selling like items and other power-ups from like other Mario games.
The Mario Party games.
And yeah, so you see like a lot of references. This movie is jam-packed with references, which will probably make this movie like very rewatchable for Nintendo fans once this movie comes out on Blu-ray or on iTunes.
And also, they won the box market. They beat Frozen.
Yeah, so this movie actually beat Frozen 2 at the box office because this movie opened up. So when a movie opens, studios closely look at how much the movie made over the weekend. So in its first weekend, it made over $377 million on that first weekend that it came out, and it beat Frozen 2's. And I think Frozen 2 made about $200 million. So it beat them by over $100 million. And so now it's the highest grossing opening weekend for any animated feature. And as of recording now, the movie has made over $800 million in the box office worldwide.
So it has been confirmed it's getting a sequel.
So basically, with like all the money that it's making right now, a sequel is inevitable.
It is, like as Thanos always says, he is inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. And so there hasn't been anything like concrete and announced so far. So who knows? Because also one thing about this movie is that Nintendo, and specifically Shigeru Miyamoto, was super involved in the making of this movie.
Yeah, he was in the credits.
Yeah, so Miyamoto is actually credited as an executive producer not executive producer, a regular producer. So he's credited as a producer. So that means like they had to like get a lot of approval from him to make this movie. So a lot of people theorize that Shigeru Miyamoto he vetoed a lot of things that Illumination usually does, because Illumination likes to do a lot of like fart and butt jokes, and a lot of people theorized that Miyamoto was like, nope, cut that shit out.
Yeah. Because the same.
Because like we didn't get like any scenes in this movie where like Mario's like shaking his ass, or like the Toads are like showing their asses like the Minions usually do, and there's like no fart jokes. Because if you remember, like in that first Despicable Me, there was like a lot of fart jokes.
Yeah,
there was
fart jokes.
There was the fart gun and stuff like that. So there was none of that in the movie, and I don't know if you've noticed, like there was like not really a lot of inappropriate jokes.
No, not in this. It was. It really stayed clean. No of the farts, no ass shaking. It was really clean. Well, it makes sense because it's a kids game.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, again, like I said, they theorized that Miyamoto and Nintendo executives, they didn't let Illumination do any of the things that they normally do. Because also one thing that I'm surprised about this movie, because it was made by Illumination. I don't know if you've been watching the past Illumination movies, like The Secret Life of Pets 2 or like Sing 2. A lot of those, like those, both of those movies, their stories and their plots really sucked. Like the way that they told their stories in those movies, it felt like they were telling like 3 separate stories at one time, and each story felt like an episode of a TV show rather than a story that would usually be in a movie. So the writing in the last few Illumination movies, it got like really lazy. And then in this one, at least I can say, it follows a very traditional structure, but it actually tells, a very cohesive beginning, middle, and end type story. It's your basic 3-act structure, but it actually feels like an actual movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually feel good. And also, yeah, I did notice Illumination stories is like everywhere, like trying to tell 3 different stories at once.
And so, but in this one, it mostly just focuses on Mario's story than anything else. But yeah, so that was probably because of Nintendo, because again, it's like Illumination, like their past few movies, the stories were like really super fucking lazy.
Yeah, I could agree.
Yeah. And so probably, and also probably the reason why Nintendo wanted to do the movie with Universal and Illumination is because they probably gave it, probably like in the contract, it said, we're going to give you guys full creative control over the movie. And so Nintendo was like, sign us up.
Yes.
and yeah.
Yeah, baby.
And so that's probably why they did the movie with Illumination. But also, what's interesting about Nintendo making the movie with Universal Studios? Are you aware of like the past controversy that that Nintendo and Universal used to have?
What controversial they had?
So back in 1981, when Nintendo released the original Donkey Kong, Universal, the president of Universal Studios, a guy named Sid Sheinberg, wanted to sue Nintendo over copyright infringement over Donkey Kong.
Why? What the hell?
Because Sid Sheinberg, the president of Universal Studios, back in the 70s, Universal Studios did a remake of King Kong. They did a remake of the original 1930s movie, and they remade it in the 70s. And so they were trying to get money from Nintendo because they believed that Donkey Kong was infringing on their rights, because supposedly they owned the King Kong rights. And because, Donkey Kong and King Kong, share the name Kong, they were like, nope, this infringes on our copyright. And
boo, complainers.
And so Nintendo, Nintendo, they hired some lawyers. One of the lawyers, I think his name was Howard Lincoln, who later became the vice president of Nintendo of America after the case. And so also Howard Lincoln, he hired this attorney named John Kirby, to help represent Nintendo. And so him and John Kirby got together, and they found out that King Kong is in the public domain. So when something is in the public domain, that means nobody owns the exclusive rights to a character or to a property.
Okay.
And so because King Kong is in the public domain, legally Universal couldn't sue them. But before Nintendo discovered that they didn't have the rights, Howard Lincoln and other executives from Nintendo went over to meet with Sid Sheinberg, the president of Universal Studios. And Sid Sheinberg thought that they were going to give up, that they were going to try to make a deal where Universal will get money for Donkey Kong. Well, they'll pay royalties for Donkey Kong. And so Howard Lincoln goes there, and then he tells Sid Sheinberg, all right, let's cut to the chase. We are not going to give you royalties. We are not going to give you any money. Donkey Kong is ours. You have no right over our character. And Sid Sheinberg, Sid Sheinberg famously got so pissed off that he told Nintendo, "You guys better start saving your monies for your legal fees because I treat lawsuits like a money pit."
Wow, petty.
Yeah, so
petty.
So and also like and yeah, so this guy Sid Sheinberg was so adamant that he was gonna get money from Nintendo, but because of Nintendo doing like their homework and discovering that King Kong is in the public domain, Universal was not able to
take any money from him.
take any money from him. And also I think also at the same time Universal probably wanted to buy Nintendo because from what I've heard, Universal wanted to get into the video game industry.
Ah, okay.
And so yeah, so they were able to beat Universal. And at the time, Nintendo was not the company that it was, what it is today. Because at the time, Nintendo was still kind of struggling to like break out into like video game industry. So they weren't like the big titans that they are now.
Ah,
so I just find it so interesting that they decided to come back to Universal to make their movie. But also like that guy, that executive Sid Sheinberg, he's not there anymore.
Oh, he's not there anymore?
Yeah, no.
Why? What happened? Did he retire already?
He quit being the president of Universal Studios after like 1995 or 1996.
Okay.
And I think he passed away in like 2019. And yeah, so he was like a huge asshole.
It sounds like it. Like, yeah. Damn, dude, why you gotta be such an ass?
I know, it's like it's greedy executives. Yeah.
I actually had this conversation with a worker when I went to go do my shit. When I was doing my own thing, I was actually talking to this receptionist about company being all shading and everything, and she agreed on my standpoint of it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, why everyone just wants to take money and that's it."
Yeah, like I tell you, like these greedy executives, and but also it's really surprising how well this Mario movie came out. Because are you aware that there was another Mario movie before this one?
Really? Oh yeah,
the one from the 90s?
Yeah, the one that failed so bad that they want to erase it.
Yeah, so like you're not actually you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because that Mario movie is so hard to watch now. It's not even like on iTunes or anything. And do you know actually who owns the rights to that Mario movie?
Who?
Disney.
Disney owns the... Wow.
So they own the rights to that specific Mario movie only because that movie was produced by one of their other studios. It was produced by this now defunct Hollywood studio called Hollywood Pictures.
Hollywood Pictures. Okay.
Yeah. So Hollywood Pictures was kind of like a sister studio to Walt Disney, and Walt Disney owned this studio. That studio was mostly known for like producing like action and horror movies, and that old Mario movie was kind of considered like a sci-fi action movie. But that one failed super hard at the box office, and it ruined the careers of its directors. Like those directors have not directed a movie ever since.
Wow.
The Mario Brothers. And that was only their second movie overall.
Oh, that's sad.
But, well, I don't feel too sad for them because on set, they were huge fucking assholes to
then never mind.
To their crew. Because there's actually an interesting story from the set of the original Mario movie. So one of the directors, his name is Rocky Morton. And he hated the way that some of the costumes were looking because he wanted the costumes to look more grungy and more dirty. And so what he did is like he took a cup of coffee and he poured it on an extra who was wearing like a mask, but the mask didn't cover like all of the neck, so the coffee ended up like going into like into like their shirt, and the coffee actually burned the extra that he was trying to like mess up their costume a little bit more. Yeah. So those...
I bet that would have hurt.
Exactly. Like that's second and third degree burns right there. And those guys were fucking assholes on that movie. Did you notice who directed this new Mario movie though?
No, I did not. I left to go use the restroom, so I wasn't able to see it.
So it was directed by these two guys. One, his name is Michael Jelnick, and the other guy's name Aaron Horvath. And are you familiar with the stuff that they did before?
No, I haven't heard their names before.
So they mostly have worked in animation. So those guys are the guys responsible for the show and the movie Teen Titans Go.
Ah, okay.
So they're the guys responsible for developing Teen Titans Go. And I think one of them was also responsible for developing Batman the Brave and the Bold, that old show on Cartoon Network.
Oh, I love that show. That was a very interesting one.
Yeah, and so something that both those shows have is that they have a lot of references to like old DC properties or current DC properties. And so it makes sense that this movie came out the way that it came out, because this movie is a sort of a love letter to a lot of Nintendo games and Nintendo characters. Because I don't know if you saw the Teen Titans Go movie.
I did not, because
if you're ever bored, I would recommend checking that one out, because it's actually not a bad movie.
Huh. All right. Then
It's actually pretty funny, and then that movie, like this Mario movie, has a lot of references to Mario has a lot of references to Nintendo, and Teen Titans Go has a lot of obscure references to DC comics. And actually that movie was actually pretty funny too. It had a few jokes in there that really made me laugh out loud in the theater. And also, weirdly, that Teen Titans Go movie is a musical. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah, I knew it was a musical.
Yeah, because the characters like sing. Yeah, because they sing out of nowhere, and a couple of characters have like songs where they sing about things that they want. And yeah, but they did it. The directors of the Mario movie did a good job, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Anything else that you want to say about the Mario movie before we conclude?
For the whole thing, I really liked the Mario movie. It was really good. I liked all the references they gave out and the funny little quips they did.
I was just happy that, I had a good time with it. I was pleasantly surprised because, again, like I mentioned, it's Illumination. I don't have a lot of trust in Illumination. But I guess, with the involvement of Shigeru Miyamoto and then these two directors, they really, made something good out of a potentially bad situation.
It was still good regardless. Mm-hmm. It was a good ass movie. I loved every second of it. I loved the references. Mm-hmm. I loved the old songs, the reference of the old games. Yeah. Oh my god. It just made my day. It really just made my day.
Anything that you would like to see in the sequel without spoiling anything?
I definitely would like to see Mario's Yoshi. Mm-hmm. They didn't even show Mario Yoshi. They did show Yoshi hurts.
They didn't show Fire Mario either.
No Fire. He almost became Fire Mario twice. Yeah, but they didn't give it to us.
No, they didn't.
The only ones they gave us was the two animals.
Yeah, Cat Mario, Tanuki Mario,
and then the negative mushroom.
And also
the actual mushroom.
Yeah, so he became like Super Mario, but we didn't get to see a lot more. Yeah, that's actually one thing I would like to see in the sequel: more power-ups, more of Mario's different forms.
Yes, and him more versed in the world, because he wasn't really well versed. He didn't know how to work everything, because they show us how he was like struggling just to get to a castle. Yeah,
no. Yeah, definitely with the sequel, he's going to be more well-versed in the world. And any other Nintendo properties that you would like to see be made into a movie?
I already staked this in a past podcast. Samus. I want Samus. I don't care about Zelda. Zelda can go shove that sword into stone all the time he wants. Samus. I want to see Aaron Samus just to be out of the suit and in the suit. Yeah. I want her to be a badass bounty hunter. Oh my god, I want to see her in the armor. Oh my god, the armor. Yes. I love the Samus franchise. I played every single Samus franchise game out there. They were difficult for me at my young age, but playing them again when I'm an adult and understands how to do it. Oh my god, so good. So good. Especially the Wii. The WII one with the nunchucks. I played that game so many times, and I replayed the story so many times, completed it 100% so many times, that just because I love Samus so much, and the weapon, the armor, how it looked, the story. Oh my god, I loved every second
if they
of it.
if they write her character like Princess Peach was in this movie, I think it'd be perfect.
Oh hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I would really love to see. Well, I did mention I would really love to see a Legend of Zelda movie, because I just love fantasy and I love fantasy worlds. So I would love to see a Legend of Zelda done right. And whether they do it animation or live action, animation would be fine if they want to keep everything like in the same universe. But I would love me a Legend of Zelda. I actually, you know what I wouldn't mind? I wouldn't mind, like, say, like a Donkey Kong Country movie if they gave like the Kong Kingdom its own movie.
Ah, that would be good.
But recast Donkey Kong, please.
No. Yes.
Kirby would also be like a fun character.
Well, it doesn't really need it because there's already a TV show of him already.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they're gonna try to do maybe like a Marvel type thing where, like, they want to introduce characters to, like, a new generation of audiences, they could make a Kirby movie, because I think Kirby, like the Mario movie, has like a lot of potential. They would just have to cast like the right person to play Kirby, because Kirby is.
Hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
Who else would I like to, maybe a Star Fox movie? That could also be like
Show
a good one.
Moves. No,
yeah,
wrong one.
Because like animal characters are always like have been done in animation. That'd be like a really cool thing that they would do. But but Zelda's probably at the top of my list for like a Nintendo movie.
All right, gotcha.
All right. Anything else that you want to say about this fine feature film masterpiece that we got to see?
I would love just one. I would love if Bowser wasn't a simp, to be honest. I would have been okay if Bowser wasn't a hardcore simp.
Oh, you know what they can do for the sequel with Bowser? They can introduce like Bowser Jr. and the Koopa Kids.
Oh, that would also be good. Yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? We'll just wait and see what news comes out of Mario 2, because it just feels weird that they haven't already announced Super Mario Brothers 2, because usually when like a new movie does really well, like within like a few weeks, they've already announced Super Mario Brothers 2 coming out 2025.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
No, but I guess they're probably maybe waiting on Nintendo, because also I think Nintendo probably is gonna take a big chunk of the profits from like the box office.
No, duh, it's their game, it's their character and everything.
So they're probably gonna wait until like it makes all of its money, and then Nintendo is probably gonna think about, we made X amount of dollars. Could we make double X amount of money next movie? Because I think that's probably the reason why they haven't announced it yet. They're probably just waiting on Nintendo, and Nintendo's probably like waiting for like all the sales from like the merch and the box office
goes away.
That's probably the reason why they haven't announced anything yet. But anyways, that is our review of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Tell us where we can find you on the internet.
If you guys have Twitch, you can come to me at Twitch/Dragon9074. Name will be changing soon, so keep an eye on that. And if you guys want to recommend us stuff, put them in the comments below. Any movies, any TV show, any anime you want to watch,
put it in the box.
Put it on the comments below. We
put
will
it
add
in
it
the
to our
box.
list. We will add it to our list to watch it in the future podcast. And if you guys want to ask more questions and have more content, you can always jump over to Twitch. I'm streaming sometimes, not all the time. I only have a certain amount of days where I can stream. So if you guys go ahead over there, follow me, put that notification over there, and I'm streaming when you're available. Come over. Let's have a chat. I like having a good conversation. It could be anything. It could be movies, animes, or just topics of current events. I would not go political. I don't do political shit. Don't bring that shit over to my stream. Don't do that.
You don't know any political shit anyways.
Exactly. I don't want it. Give it away. The reason why I stream and play games is to be dumb and don't even think about political shit. Like, why would I want to think about that? My brain is thinking about equations of game mechanics and puzzle solving mechanics of dungeons.
Yeah. Don't get any of your political news from this dunce.
I'm a dunce and I'm brown. I like anime women and anime titties. So get your ears out of there, boy.
Yeah. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. Liking and sharing the video or the podcast episode on iTunes or Spotify. It really does help, and it helps us pop up on people's feeds more. So if you want to see us do more content, make sure to like and subscribe. That is the least anybody can do for us.
Of course, if you guys don't like us anymore, you can unsubscribe. It doesn't worth nothing.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just teasing this guy because I love his reaction. He just gave me the dead stare, like, don't say
Shut
that.
The fuck
don't
up.
say that.
Shut the fuck up, you dumbass.
So yeah.
No wonder you don't know shit about politics.
Yeah.
You're just a dumbass in general.
Yeah. Brain don't work. Me think anime titties and thighs.
All right.
And also one reference in. She's so hot.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up with that shit.
So, hey, you guys,
you're going to hell.
If you guys enjoyed us, please leave a like, and I hope you guys see you in the next episode.
Yeah, check us out for our next episode. Just a quick reminder, our next episode is going to be a review on the movie The Lighthouse. So check you guys later.
Bye.